Sexual intelligence level one.
It felt like coming home.
Mm.
That's exactly what it felt like. On my own journey through Eros and embodiment, and very validating. And yeah, that's one line. It felt like coming home.
Full freedom and liberation is so moving, and it's like that's exactly like what I want to be embodying as much as possible and what I want to be learning, and it goes hand in hand with reclaiming my sexuality.
This course was birthed from a concept that I have been speaking to around what humanity needs as we move forward in sexual literacy and what this means as far as sexual intelligence. And so, this concept of sexual intelligence and sexual literacy is really emerging of an academic lingo, an academic conversation, academic words with the concept of sexuality and Eros. And one of the things that I recognize as the director of the Institute New Paradigm Intimacy, which was a globally accredited sexuality school, was that many people who came looking at the Institute to enroll in the program were very curious around exploring more of their sexuality. However, they were not open to commit to the 9-month certification program that we had. So, one of the pieces that I had been moving with some time was to create a tiered course of the concept of something that could be a little bit more digestible to humanity, to those who are curious about their sexuality as it relates to themselves, as it relates to love, as it relates to consciousness, as it relates to spirituality, as it relates to relationships, as it relates to really every aspect of their life. And one of the pieces that I speak to in my Elephant Journal articles is the understanding that the recent scandals and the pieces that are coming to light around sexuality is really a responsibility of all of us, and that we are all actually being called into taking more responsibility for the knowledge, for the understanding, for the relationship to our own sexuality. And it has been something for many thousands and thousands of years, separated not only from spirituality, but from self. And so, sexual intelligence level one is the beginning. It's a basic course for those who are looking to get started, to, if they're interested in sexuality, interested in expanding their relationship with sexuality, interested in recognizing that they have sexual experiences, but maybe they're kind of really not that great right now, really kind of confused around sexuality, those who might want to begin to open up conversations so that they can support their children to have better conversations and support their children to have healthier relationships with their sexuality. Sexual intelligence level one is a 3-week course. And we begin with the first week in covering the topics and speaking about sexual literacy, which is the conversation of sexuality. What is your relationship with sexuality? What has your past relationship been with sexuality? How was sexuality exposed or not exposed to you when you were in the home? And how have these experiences shaped your relationship with sexuality today?
My first memory is about 3 years old, maybe younger, in a crib, and I had an erection, and I was using it on my stuffed animals, and the nanny walked in and said, "Stop that,"
Mm. Mhm.
and shame around that. So there was a lot of shame that ended up informing my sexual learnings and things done in secrecy, and you didn't talk about it with the parents or anything like that. I was afraid to participate. So I had to work against my own sort of self-loathing
Mm.
and 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 fear to actually relax my nervous system enough to be accepted by a woman who would come with me to the prom
Mhm.
and make out with me in the
Mhm.
backseat of my car in high school. And
I have a very high sex drive and curious always this sense of like, am I too much? Is this too much? Like my
Mm,
favorite movie was The Secretary, which is a BDSM movie. It's still my favorite movie. I didn't know that I was into kink and BDSM. And it was just like, oh, why do I like, and so trying to be smaller, maybe
mm,
because of shame. So it's a provocative question. I really have to sit
that's a
with it. Like
great.
that's going back and really going, what was I feeling? What is wrong with me? Do I need to fit this small container? Why am I not? Why do I desire more? Right? The sex education, it's a joke, the banana, the condom, right? And you're making fun of the teacher. I mean, we really were like, whatever. And I also had, the group of friends that I was with, there were some more sexually precocious people, but, and, all the women had sex by 16 or so.
I had to be good. Um, and like a prudish. Um, and the conversation around sex was more focused around like the friction based male pleasure uh, prioritization as told by media and books and society versus like how a woman will enjoy sex. Uh, yeah. And also being like a humiliation, embarrassment ritual when a woman loses her virginity, of
Mm,
sorts. So those are the things that
mhm.
immediately come to mind.
And we slowly begin to peel back the layers using our globally accredited self-pleasure modality, which was the modality that was used at the Institute New Paradigm Intimacy, which is a somatic modality focused on a sensory experience. The self-pleasure modality is different than masturbation. It is not the same as masturbation. It does not have to include genital touch, or it can include genital touch. It can be done with clothes on. It can be done with clothes off. The purpose of self-pleasure is to connect, and using the tantric tools of sound, breath, movement, and touch, connect back to the senses of the body, to the sensate body, to aliven the vitality of the cells of the body, so that we begin to bring our aliveness to ourself again. And this aliveness activates our eros. And our eros, I define as really the creative life force that moves through us all, that's really suppressed on top of all of these things in life that we're looking to peel back. And eros, just a side note, by no means is only associated with sexuality. There is eros of the intelligence, where you can create and you can feel the eros with a conversation with somebody. There's heart eros, where you feel a connection with somebody through the heart. Okay, so eros simply means the merging of, so the bringing together of. So the sexual intelligence level 1 course begins with this. We begin to peel back the layers of the essence of what is really truly your sexuality, revealing what is called your erotic innocence, and how we can then begin to recognize that erotic innocence and live with that erotic innocence.
Like your
So,
differentiation, like you said, of self pleasure and masturbation, because when we, instantly self pleasure, oh, Matt, right? Just think it's a synonym. So
yes.
I really love that articulation.
There's always a sort of dull throb of my old wounds that are present, that
Mm,
that informed this childhood education of sexuality, and it continues to emerge. And I've learned to recognize that it isn't mine. It was the the happenstance of my circumstances that led to me being born in this,
mm,
because I've learned so much since then. It's a practice. It's just becoming aware of the patterns and the education that you had that was through of no fault of your own, and learning to be grown up around it. And then you could be learning that at 50, 60. even 70 years of age still, just allowing to free yourself up to be more human before this human body disappears. So understand that you only have a limited amount of time, and it's worth it at the end of the day.
Sexual intelligence level 1, which moves then into the course sexual intelligence level 2, which is really how to become more into relationship with Eros, which then moves into sexual intelligence level 3, which is a longer course which has to do with how we live with our Eros, how we embody our Eros, and how we live day-to-day life. So sexual intelligence level 1 is 3 weeks, and you have 3 self-pleasure practices. There are 3 teachings that are included with this, as well as a tremendous amount of supplemental resources, supporting you to step back into relationship with sex with self. So your relationship with sexuality and self, as well as your relationship with sexuality and other. So it's a multifaceted approach. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at my email, and looking forward to having you explore the course. Thank you.